Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Praise Shri Ganesh Bhagavan ki. If we could ask Donald to just come a moment as we offer our gratitude and our love for the fine work every year. You look around you and you see so many of these wonderful murtis that have been prepared with so much love and devotion by Donald and members of his team. And we are traditionally, and again this year, are the first vendor to come to have our murti taken home to us. And as we want to express our gratitude, we don't know how the one blesses you each and every year with the time, with the patience, with the strength, and with the inspiration to do all that you do, and then to be able to find the time to do this. So this morning we want to offer our love. I will invite our chairman, Mr. Sinanan, Yanganin Sinanan, to say a few words, and then we will ask you to respond.
Thank you, everyone. Thank each and every one of you for being here this morning. It's a great pleasure. Donella, we want to thank you for your time and your effort and your team for the great job you have been doing. And we pray that God continue to bless you so you have the health and strength to continue this great job. So that's all I want to say this morning. And thank you all again for being here.
Donald, do you want to say?
Sit down, everybody. Once again, thank you very much for coming. Usually we have a late night and Sunday morning will be a case to get up, especially the day before the yagna. But thank you very much again. The art of using traditional methods of murti making is fast dying out. Because for so many people, as with everything else, it's just easier to just go to the store and just buy a murti and come and do your business. It's easier. But the easier is not always the best. Easier will never ever be the best. It will never ever cover for what we're supposed to do. And these are traditions that our ancestors did from many hundreds of years when they came here. So, Suchichis is celebrating 108 years. Ramaichis is celebrating 120 years. That will tell you how much years. And these are mandirs and other temples, they stick to the tradition. They stick to that. Yes, we like modernity, we like all those things, but there's a place for everything. And there are certain things, if you want Dharma to continue, there are things that you cannot change. And from the time you start changing it, then everything else changes. The 5 Ps, Bhasha, Ved, Bhojan, all of these things, if you start changing those things, then the religion itself starts to erode. We are happy that we still have our funding that continue to propagate the religion. There are other countries, we know about our ancestors coming to Trinidad and Guyana, but they came to other islands too. They did. Martinique had a big, Jamaica had a big Indian, but because of the lack of pundits and so on, and those people carry on the religion just died away in those countries. The culture just died away. Yes, few groups and so on. Imagine when they have Indian arrival, a celebration Indians from Trinidad have to arrive there. Continuing the trend of the tradition, the puja for digging of the hill, right? The construction of the murti, the day in which the murti is carried, the pran pratishtha, the installation of the murti, all these are important. And when the youths are able to see that you do not shirk from what you have to do, then they follow the tradition. But from the minute they see, well, it's easy for us to bend and easy for us to just go as we think, then they follow the same rule as well. And it's the same thing with family life and so on. So I want to wish you all a happy Kutsal this year. 2 years ago, on a day like today, people in the home and 4 people was coming from Murti, 2 people. They had to do puja and closed doors. Think about what we came out of and what we have now and what we could cherish. So cherish all these little times that we have, and especially the time and the effort that we get to do puja. Because when God gives us that, use it. Because if you don't use it, you will lose it. Right? It's the time, everybody.
Prem Bole Shri Ganesh Bhagwan ki Jai. I want to express our profound thanks for the words expressed by God. Particularly, I want to direct to the youths those sentiments that has been expressed by our young people. Truer words could not have been spoken. And Donnell is speaking as a father of a young child. He's speaking as the principal of a school where he has custody and guidance over so many persons. He's speaking as the leader of a mandir that has gone through and continues to go through many challenges but continues to remain steadfast. He's speaking as a member of the executive of the Sanatan Dharma Mahasabha and the person who is in charge of the Southwest area in terms of the mandirs and organizations here. So he speaks from very many perspectives and from a very broad expanse of experience and so on. And it is very telling, the things that he said this morning, and I want to commend all of his words to everyone who's here, particularly the young ones, because as he quite rightly pointed out, we knew for the past couple of years what the pandemic brought. When we were in the midst of it, we were really uncertain as to what the future would hold. But God has blessed us that that obstacle has been removed and we are able to come together again. Some persons are still uncertain, there's still some trepidation, but we must remain focused in what we do and the benefits of what we do, and most importantly for the young ones, the rationale for why we do it. And our scriptures offer this. Panditji, Mandir Pandit gives wonderful pravachan and descriptions and analyses based upon data and scientific fact, and that should be encouragement enough for all of us to understand and to learn and to continue to appreciate. I don't want to go on any further, but we will now close with Arti, conclude with Arti, and the Arti again, everyone will come forward and perform the Arti. We will place a little, just give So we focus on Ganesh now, and we are about to perform our arti. Like I said, when you come forward, you perform your arti and pass the tali to the person behind you, the family behind you, and then you perform your arti and pass on that way. Whatever dakshina you wish to offer, please place it as well by the murti. You get a little basket, and whatever you offer will be going towards members of this mandir and to this mandir.
Next round. Next round. Next one.
What you can do, put them by the fan, just spin the fan, and then you can. offerings now, and you pass the tally to him. Hari Om Sajam Javarti Samayuktam Vahinam Yojitam Maya Jai Lokatimi Arpadipam Parameshwaram Yani Kani Cha Papani Janma Antarkitani Tani Tani Vinashanti Pradakshina Pade Pade Ganesha Sharanam Sharanam Ganesha Sharanam Sharanam Ganesha 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 Ganesha Sharanam Ganesha Ganesha Sharanam 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 Sharanam Ganesha 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 Sharanam Sharanam 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 Ganesha Om Shanti Shanti Samadi Samadi Samaya Lokati Anam Deepam Parameswaram. Praise Bole Shri Ganesh Bhagwan Ki Jai. We join our palms together as we conclude in prayer just as we've begun. O Prabhu, we offer you that thanks and that gratitude for the blessings bestowed upon us. We give thanks and we offer commendations to Donnell and members of his team who very lovingly and with full devotion come year after year to provide this seva so that we can benefit. O Prabhu, we make that sankalp this morning that during the period of this utsav that we will focus our mind, our attention, our heart and our love wholly and exclusively upon you. We ask for your blessings that all obstacles that may be presented to us would be removed to allow us that wonderful opportunity, that all impediments of whatever kind would be removed from our pathway and that we will have that hope, we will have that love and devotion, allow us to draw from your presence and to draw from your teaching and example so that we can all become better persons. We can all realize our capability. If you've made any errors, if there are any shortcomings, we ask for your forgiveness, O Prabhu. Let us journey very safely, uneventfully from this Mandir to our Mandir. And indeed, let us continue during this period of Utsav to enjoy those blessings of protection and of inspiration. We join together. Hari Om Mantrahinam Kriyahinam Bhaktihinam Janardanam Yat Pujitam Maya Deva Param Tarastame. In one voice. Tvameva Mata Shatita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhu Shaseka Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. प्रेम से बोले श्री गणेश भगवान की जय, पार्वती महादेव की जय, शक्ति जगदम्बा देवी मैया की जय, सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय. So as we conclude, we will prepare the murtis for transportation. We need 4 persons, please, able-bodied, to help us move the murti across. And as we recall, just allow my vehicle to go first, then Mukesh with the murti. Then behind that, Gangidin and his family, and then others follow in procession. Those of you who would like to go ahead to the Mandir, you are able to do so at this point as we complete. Sorry. Where's Donnell still here? Where's the chairman? We have a small presentation to make to Donnell. Gangidin.
Okay, man. In front.
This is an invitation for everybody for the that starts tomorrow evening for the entire week until the 27th. So you're invited to come and join us this evening. Next week Sunday, though, we have the Ganesha Hasranam, the 1,000 names, and it is done in, as a whole group. So like everyone goes and do offerings. So it starts at around 10 o'clock in the morning. So maybe after Sunday morning service, you can come down and join in the Ganesh Sahasranam, the 1,000 names of Ganesh, and the offering of the 1,000 leaves and the grass and so on. So you're invited to come and join in that.
Thank you very much. Can we invite you for
We understand.
So on behalf of all members, I would like to make this contribution to all members. Thank you. On behalf of my family.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Donnell. As we make our preparation, we need 4 young ones to help us with the D-Marker, C-D-Marker, Mushak Vasuki, and then 2 persons to help us with the Murti of Ganeshji as we take him to the vehicles of our transportation.
So this is normal size?
And everybody say Namaha as we're going along. Alright, so we can begin. Om Vinayakaya Namaha. Om Vignarajaya Namaha. Om Gauri Putraya Namaha. Om Ganeshwaraya Namaha. Om Skandhanujaya Namaha. Om Avyaya Namaha. Om Bhutaya Namaha. Om Dakshadakshaya Namaha. Om Dhrijapriyaya Namaha. Om Agni Garbhachite Namaha. Om Indra Shri Pradaya Namaha. Om Vani Varpradaya Namaha. Om Sarva Siddhi Pradayakaya Namaha. Om Sharvattanayaya Namaha. Om Sharvapriyaya Namaha. Om Sarvatmakaya Namaha. Om Shrishtikarshre Namaha. Om Devanikadikaya Namaha. Om Shivaya Namaha. Om Rudrapriyaya Namaha. Om Shantaya Namaha. Om Brahmacharine Namaha. Om Gajananaya Namaha. Om Dvaimaturaya Namaha. Om Munitusyaya Namaha. Om Bhakta Vigna Vinashine Namaha. Om Kesadantaya Namaha. Om Chaturbahave Namaha. Om Shakti Samustaya Namaha. Om Chaturaya Namaha. Om Lambodharaya Namaha.
Right. Oh. Right. Namaha. Namaha.
Krishna Mandir.
पार्वती पिता महादेवा माता जाकी 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 पार्वती पिता
You to please stand as we begin with an opening prayer.
Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvada Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhadrakali Kapalini Durga Shama Shiva Dhatri Swaha Swadha Namostute Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedhase Raghunataya Nataya Sitaye Patiye Namaha Karpura Kauram Karunavtaram Sansara Saram Bhujagendraharam Saravasantam Hridayarvinde Bhavam Bhavani Sahitam Namami Manojavam Marutatulya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhi Matatvarishtam Vatatmajam Vanaryutamokyam Sri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapatye Adi Deva Namastubhyam Prasida Mama Bhaskara Divakara Namastubhyam Prabhakara Namastubhyam Namostute. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om.
Please remain standing as we join in a Ganesh bhajan. Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh Deva. Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh Deva. Mata Janki Parvati, Pita Mahadeva. Mata Janki Parvati,
Pita Mahadeva.
Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh Deva. Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh Deva. Mata Janki Parvati, Pita Mahadeva.
Mata Janki Parvati, Pita Mahadeva.
एक दंत दयावंत चार भुजाधारी.
एक दंत दयावंत चार भुजाधारी.
माथे सिंदूर सोही मूसिकी सवारी.
माथे सिंदूर सोही मूसकी सवारी.
अनधन को आंख देख कोधिन को काया.
अनधन को आंख देत कोरियन को खाया.
महाजन को पुत्र देत निर्धन को माया.
राजन को पुत्र देत निर्धन को माया.
जय गणेश, जय गणेश, जय गणेश देवा.
जय गणेश, जय गणेश, जय गणेश देवा.
माता जानकी पार्वती, पिता महादेवा.
माता जानकी पार्वती, पिता महादेवा.
पान चढ़ी, फूल चढ़ी और चढ़ी मेवा.
पान चढ़ी, फूल चढ़ी और चढ़ी मेवा.
लघुवन को भोग लगे, संत करी सेवा.
लघुवन को भोग लगी, संत करी सेवा.
रिद्धि सिद्धि सात सोही कार्तिकेय भ्राता.
वेद सेधि साध सोई कार्तिकेय भ्राता.
दीन जानी शरण राखी, सुफल की जय सेवा.
दीन जानी शरण राखे, सुफल कीज सेवा.
जय गणेश, जय गणेश, जय गणेश देवा. जय गणेश, जय गणेश, जय गणेश देवा. माता जानकी पार्वती, पिता महादेवा. माता जानकी पार्वती, पिता महादेवा. माता जानकी पार्वती, पिता महादेवा. Kindly take your seats. जय 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 गणपति देवा. जय जय जय
जय गणपति देवा.
जय 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 गणपति देवा.
जय 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 गणपति देवा.
गजानना ही गजानना.
गजानना ही गजानना.
गजानना ही गजानना.
गजानना ही गजानना.
गजानना ही गणपति देवा.
गजानना गणपति पितामह देवा
गजानना हे गणपति देवा
गजानना हे गणपति देवा
गजानना हे गणपति देवा
गजानना हे गणपति देवा
जय 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 गणपति देवा
गजानना हे गजानना
गजानना हे गजानना
गजानना हे गजानना
गजानना हे गजानना
गजानना हे गणपति देवा
गजानना हे गणपति देवा
गजानना हे गणपति देवा
गजानना हे गणपति देवा
जय 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 गणपति देवा
जय 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 गणपति देवा
जय जय गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय 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 गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय जय गणपति विघ्न विनाशन हारी गणपति विघ्न विनाशन हारी गणपति विघ्न विनाशन हारी गणपति विघ्न विनाशन हारी गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय जय लंबोदर पीतांबर सोहे अडिमणि मुकुट नयन रत्नारे
लंबोदर पीतांबर सोहे हरिमणि मुकुट नयन रत्नारे
अजमणि माल गले बिज सोहे
गजमणि माल गले ब्रिज सोहे
माल लला में चंद्रकला में गणपति विघ्न विनाशन हारी गणपति विघ्न विनाशन हारी गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय 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 गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय जय मोदक लीत दीत जननी जब ठुमक छलकनु पुर झनकारे
मोदक लीत दीत जननी जब ठुमक चलत नूपुर
झनकारे रिधि सीधी दो जबर दुलावत रिधि सीधी दो
जवर दुलावत
सुर समूह लखी होत सुखारी गणपति विघ्न विनाशन हारी गणपति विघ्न विनाशन हारी गणपति जय गणपति
गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय 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 गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय 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 गणेश जय गणपति जय 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 गणेश जय गणपति जय जय गौरी गणेश उमा महेश पार्वती नंदन परती गणेश गौरी गणेश उमा महेश पार्वती नंदन श्री गणेश शरणं 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 गणेश शिवानंदन गणपति गणेश शिवानंदन गणपति गणेश गौरी गणेश उमा महेश पार्वती नंदन परती गणेश गौरी गणेश उमा महेश पार्वती नंदन श्री गणेश गौरी गणेश उमा महेश पार्वती नंदन परती गणेश गौरी गणेश उमा महेश पार्वती नंदन श्री गणेश शरणं 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 गणेश शिवानंदन गणपति गणेश शिवानंदन गणपति गणेश शिवानंदन गणपति गणेश
गणपति नमः ओम जय ओम कवये नमः ओम सामघोषप्रियाय नमः ओम पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः ओम स्थूलदन्ताय नमः ओम अग्राणयाय नमः ओम ग्रामण्ये नमः ओम गणभाय नमः ओम स्थिराय नमः ओम रिद्धिदायकाय नमः ओम शुभगाय नमः ओम शुराय नमः ओम वागीशाय नमः ओम सिद्धिदायकाय नमः ओम अच्युताय नमः ओम केवलाय नमः ओम सिद्धाय नमः ओम सज्जनानन्दगिरिहरवाय नमः ओम जानिने नमः मायुक्ताय नमः दाताय नमः ओम रामद्वेषाविवार्ताय नमः ओम प्रमथदैत्यवधाय नमः ओम व्यक्तवृत्तये नमः उमाकुमूर्तके नमः ओम सर्वमूर्खाय नमः ओम पार्वती शंकरतोतस केलनोतसवाय नमः ओम समस्त जगदाधराय नमः ओम वरमूषकाय वाहनाय नमः ओम हृष्टचिताय नमः ओम प्रसन्नात्मने नमः ओम श्री सर्वसिद्धिप्रदायकाय नमः प्रेम से बोल श्री गणेश भगवान की ओम गम गणपतये नमः प्रेम से बोलो श्री गणेश भगवान की जय विघ्नराजाय नमः प्रेम से बोलो श्री गणेश भगवान की जय पंडित जी
Brothers and sisters, we are welcome very informally this morning with his arrival here to the Mandir. We are very fortunate that you're all here. Tomorrow, the Pran Pratishta Puja will be performed from 10 a.m. Those of you who are able to, I know it's a working day, it's a school day, but those of you who are able to, you are invited to come. We will be finished by around noon, and then bhojan will be served. And then from Tuesday evening, from 6 to about 7:30, each and every evening puja will be performed, and you are again all invited to join, to come with your flowers, to come with your love as you offer your adorations to Ganesh Bhagwan. At this juncture, because the Pran Pratishtha has not yet been performed, the Murti will be screened off. And we will continue with our regular Sunday morning satsang. And at this juncture, I'll invite Panditji to lead us with Bhagavad Gita and our reading from scripture.
गोविंद
हरि गोपाल बोलो
राधा रमण हरि गोविंद बोलो
राधा रमण हरि
गोविंद बोलो
गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो
गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो
गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो
गोविंद बोलो
हरि गोपाल बोलो
राधा रमण हरि गोविंद बोलो
राधा रमण हरि गोविंद बोलो
राधा रमण हरि गोविंद बोलो
राधा रमण हरि
गोविंद बोलो
प्रेम से बोलो श्री गोविंद कृष्ण भगवान की जय सीताराम everyone. Lovely to see so many of you here. May God continue to bless you, guide you, protect your families, yourselves throughout the day and night. And may God continue to inspire you to make the right choices you've done today to be here with us. And now, as we begin our Bhagavad Gita Dhyanam, is there anyone who doesn't have the words in front of you? Those of us who don't have our glasses or are unable to see the screen, I do have a few copies that Auntie Vayu has made available for us. You need one? Auntie Vayu needs one. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om. Anybody else? Om. Shri Govindaya Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavatam
नारायणेन स्वयं
Vyasena Munitam Puranamunina Madhye
महाभारतम्
Advaitamritavarshiniം Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Amba Tvam Anusandadhami
भगवद् गीते भगवद्वेषणी
Namostute Vyasa-vishala-buddhe
पुनरविन्दायितपत्रनेत्रे
Yena Tvaya Bharatatailya-purnah
प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमया प्रदीपः
Prapanna-parijataya Totra-vetraikapanaye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya
गीतामृतदुहे नमः
Sarva Upanishado Gavo
Doga Gopalanandana
Partho Vatsah Sudhir Bhokta
Duktam Geetamritam Mahan
Vasudeva Sutam Devam
Tatsajanu
Devaki Paramanandam.
Krishnam Vande Jagatguru.
Krishnam Vande Jagatgurum Shri Krishnam Vande Jagatgurum. Oh.
Krishnam Vande Jagatguru. Shri Krishnam Vande Jagatguru.
Krishnam Vande Jagatgurum Shri Krishnam Vande Jagatguru.
Krishnam Vande Jagatguru. Shri Krishnam Vande Jagatguru.
Krishnam Vande Jagatgurum Shri Krishnam Vande Jagatgurum.
Krishnam Vande Jagatguru. Shri Krishnam Vande Jagatguru.
Krishnam Vande Jagatgurum Shri Krishnam Vande Jagatgurum.
Krishnam Vande Jagatguru. Shri Krishnam Vande Jagatguru.
Jagatgurum Shri Jagatgurum Jagatgurum Shri Jagatgurum Shri Jagatgurum Shri Jagatgurum. Prem se bolo Shri Govind Krishna Bhagavan ki jai. Please bow to your Bhagavad Gitas. Turn. And do we have any volunteers for today? Where did we reach last week, Surin? Verse 11, chapter. Okay. So we're starting at verse number 11. Is that correct? Everybody is there? Page 100. So I'm sorry, I'm chapter 9. Chapter 9, 11. Right, there we go. Any volunteers going once, twice? I'll read. Not knowing my supreme nature. Is that where we are? Page 108. Not knowing my supreme nature, fools deride me, the overlord of the entire creation, who have assumed the human form. That is to say, they take me, who have appeared in human form through my Yoga Maya for the deliverance of the world, as an ordinary mortal. Those bewildered persons with vain hopes, futile actions, and fruitless knowledge have embraced a fiendish, demoniacal, and delusive nature. On the other hand, Arjun, great souls who have adopted the divine nature, knowing me as the prime source of all beings and the imperishable, eternal, worship me constantly with one-pointedness of mind, constantly chanting my names and glories and striving for my realization, and bowing again and again to me. Those devotees of firm resolve, ever united with me through meditation, worship me with single-minded devotion. Others, who follow the path of knowledge, betake themselves to me through yajna of knowledge, worshipping me in my absolute, formless aspect as one with themselves, while still others worship me in my universal form, in many ways, taking me to be diverse in manifold celestial forms. I am the Vedic ritual. I am the sacrifice. I am the offering to the departed. I am the herbage and food grains. I am the sacred mantra. I am the clarified butter. I am the sacred fire, and I am verily the act of offering oblations into the fire. I am the sustainer and ruler of this universe, its father, mother, and grandfather, the one worth knowing, the purifier,
The sacred syllable Om and the three Vedas.
Rig, Yajus, and Sam. I am the supreme goal, sustainer, Lord, witness, abode, refuge, well-wisher seeking no return, origin and end, resting place, storehouse to which all beings return at the time of universal destruction, and the imperishable seed. I radiate heat as the sun, and hold back as well as send forth showers, Arjun. I am immortality as well as death. Even so, I am being and also
non-being.
those who perform action with some interested motive as laid down in these three Vedas and drink the sap of the Soma plant and have thus been purged of sin, worshipping me through sacrifices, seek access to heaven.
Attaining Indra's paradise as the result of their virtuous deeds.
They enjoy the celestial pleasures of gods in heaven. Prem se bol Shri Govind Krishna Bhagwan ki. Bow to your Bhagavad Gitas. Govinda bolo Hari Gopal bolo.
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 Prem se bolo Shri Govind Krishna Bhagwan ki jai. Today, because of the time, we're after 9, we'll just do a 1-minute short meditation. So we sit upright, we focus on Krishna Bhagwan, and we recite that Dwadash Akshar mantra, 12 syllables, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And we recite that 12 times. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Take a deep breath in and recite Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Again. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Last one. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Take a deep breath in and out and in and out. Last time in and out. Prem se bol Shri Govind Krishna Bhagwan ki jai.
Thank you, Panditji. We now invite the teachers of the Bal Vihar class to take the children down to the classroom. So all of the children, I see many persons here today, all children, please move quietly down with your teachers for the Bal Vihar class. Those of you who are unsure, you can proceed as well. So while the children make their way with their teachers down, we chant for one moment. Om Gam Ganapataye Namo Nama Shri Siddhi Vinayaka Namo Nama Ashta Vinayaka Namo Nama
मंगलमूर्ति मोरया। ओम गं गणपतये नमो नमः। श्री सिद्धिविनायक नमो नमः। अष्टविनायक नमो नमः। मंगलमूर्ति मोरया। ओम गं गणपतये नमो नमः। श्री सिद्धिविनायक नमो नमः। अष्टविनायक नमो नमः। गणपति बाप्पा मोरया। ओम गणपतये नमो नमः। श्री सिद्धिविनायक नमो नमः। अष्टविनायक नमो नमः। गणपति बाप्पा मोरया। ओम गं गणपतये नमो नमः। श्री सिद्धिविनायक नमो नमः। अष्टविनायक नमो नमः। गणपति बाप्पा मोरया। गं गणपतये नमो नमः। श्री सिद्धिविनायक नमो नमः। अष्टविनायक नमो नमः। गणपति बाप्पा मोरया। गणपति बाप्पा मोरया। गणपति बाप्पा मोरया।
प्रेम से बोले श्री गणेश भगवान की जय। सबको जय सीताराम। जय सीताराम। It is indeed, I think, testimony to your love and your devotion for Bhagwan that so many of you have made the deliberate choice to be here with us this morning physically. Many, many persons would have joined us down at the Krishna Mandir, Derrick Road, Esperance Village, where we join with Donnell, Jagmohan, and members of his team as Ganesh Bhagwan, that wonderful form that was allowed, and we were allowed that privilege to view this morning before the Pran Pratishta, where that murti, that form, was crafted with so much love and so much devotion. And prior to our departure from Derrick Road, Donnell made some very wonderful observations. I don't know if the live stream was on at the time, but the observations that he made, I want to share a bit this morning because I think they're very pertinent and they're very meaningful and they're very relevant for all of us. He made the point of the tradition of the Ganesh Utsav festival. And he used, for example, the mandirs that we're familiar with in South from Suchitris and from Ramai Tris Devi, both of which have observed this tradition for well over a century. And that by itself is remarkable when we think about it in the context of this cosmopolitan country and the challenges faced by our foreparents. But more than the longevity of that celebration, which continues today, he made the point that in the midst of that there were certain obstacles, and most notably the ones that we recognize ourselves, that we're most familiar with. For example, the restrictions that were imposed by the pandemic and the lockdowns, and I don't want us to forget that, because we should remember the challenges that we faced as a people and the uncertainty that we faced in the normal day-to-day things that we would have been accustomed doing and those things that we would have enjoyed doing. So during that period, the way in which we would have observed our celebrations were changed unavoidably. But the reality is, notwithstanding the challenges, the celebration went on. And many persons would have performed their Ganesh Puja within the confines of their homes, with their families being assisted along via social media, via television, and what have you. We've emerged from that pandemic, thankfully. Most of us. Some persons were not fortunate. But we've emerged, and all of us who are here, and all of us who will attend Yajna in various parts of the country and will attend here as well, should reflect upon that blessing that we've had and continue to have of this human body and this human form. To be able to come as we normally do, in a very conscious, in a very focused, and in a very deliberate fashion, using all of the faculties that Bhagwan has blessed us with to be able to enjoy puja and to perform puja. And we do so now not as individuals. We do so now not as nuclear families, but we do so now as a community. And that is a blessing. The other point that he made that I want to share is keeping steadfast to traditions. And this was a point that he made to the younger ones who were there this morning, and it is a point that I would like to share. In the 21st century, all of us, without exception, are busy. If you were to ask anyone, how are you going? One of the first things that would come up to their mind and may even emanate from their lips, a real busy boy, I have so many things to do. And that is the reality. And with that busyness, we sometimes become overwhelmed. That I have so much to do. And Panditji has shared his own experience. Because Panditji is a very busy person. And that feeling, and how do you overcome that feeling? So all of us, without exception, have that feeling. And so, with that busyness, with so many things to do, very often, unfortunately, we sacrifice what we should do for convenience because we're too busy. And the example that he used is that during Ganesh Utsav, it's very easy, because we're so busy, to go to the puja store and purchase a murti. And then use the murti, puja that murti, and so on. And then immerse the murti. Now, for some people, that may be unavoidable because there's nothing else that is available to them. But at the mandir here, there are things that are available to us. And Donnell and his team, in crafting the murti, in the way in which it should be performed, are doing what the traditions have recommended and what the traditions have prescribed. And it is not because it is old-fashioned, it is because there's very deep and profound meaning in that tradition. The performance of puja, when the earth or that dirt is taken, the crafting of the murti by persons who have observed certain vrat and fast while they're performing that seva. By bringing the murti in the fashion in which we did, sharing it with the community, sharing it with all and sundry, stopping along the way so that all persons in various geographical regions can also benefit from the blessing of Ganeshji and coming here. And then allowing everyone without exception to come and perform puja. Those are the rich traditions, and then we go on so that our Vyas who will be coming on the various nights, and I want you to share the invitation with everyone you come into contact with, will be expounding from our scriptures. Again, sharing that knowledge, sharing that wonderful philosophy for the benefit of us all. And those long-standing traditions must be kept alive. They must be nurtured. They must be allowed to flourish, and they must be passed on from generation to generation. So long after I am not here, maybe in the next 50 years, whoever else is here can then say that tradition was carried on not only by Suchit Trace and Ramai Trace, but that tradition is carried on by Krishna Mandir. That Krishna Mandir remains steadfast. We as a Mandir celebrate over 70 years of being in existence. And we know that it is more than just a structure. It is more than just a building. It is the pulse of Sanatan Dharma that persons before us have benefited from, that we have benefited from, that our children are benefiting from, and hopefully future generations will continue to benefit from. We are merely custodians to ensure that that tradition is preserved. And so that message resonated with me this morning, and it was something that I wanted to share. Because when we think of Ganesh Utsav festival, there are 2 points I want to just express upon this morning before I conclude. One, the festival itself. And I've just shared some of the aspects of it, in terms of puja, in terms of community, in terms of the philosophy and yajna by the various Vyas. And what is the importance of that? Think about any grand event or yajna that you may have at your home, or you may have in the mandir, or you may have elsewhere. It requires the coming together of various persons. If you're doing it in your home, it requires the coming together of your family. You think you could have a wedding with one person? That would be a very strange occurrence. When you have a puja, it is more than just one individual. Even if it's just the pandit coming together, somebody is coming. So anything, and even on a larger scale, it involves the coming together of persons. And persons coming together bring a lot of joy, but sometimes they could also bring a little bit of difficulty in terms of working together. And that is the normal thing. For the younger people who study group dynamics, when you put a group together, there's forming, then comes storming. And by storming, you mean all of the difficulties involved, and then trying to work through those difficulties. Then come norming. Norming meaning, not our puppy at home, norming means that you are coming together now in a focused way. You've overcome the difficulties. And what is the last step of that? After norming comes performing. So when we have a yajna here, you have members coming together. When you have a yajna anywhere, persons coming together. And you move past the forming and the storming and the norming, and we get to the performing. But it allows us as a community to learn those lessons, to recognize that each and every person who comes here brings value and adds value and has something to contribute, has something to do. Every single person, without exception. And we are given the opportunity by Ganesh Bhagwan during this time to do that, to exercise that, to give of ourselves. Not only for our own benefit and development, but indeed for our holistic development collectively. And that is an amazing thing that our rishis and munis have allowed us to do. The psychological and sociological aspect of all of that is absolutely amazing. Thought of not in the 21st century, but thousands of years ago, relevant then, relevant through the generations, relevant now, and even with AI, artificial intelligence, will continue to be relevant in the future. So for our young people, we must recognize, and don't say, well, you know, it's during school time, so I can't come. Panditji has beseeched and exhausted that dismissal of that argument. You can come. Make the time. In the same way that you are focused and say, I have so much to do, I'm so busy, let this also be part of that busyness. Let it be, it must be. It is a fundamental part. And in coming together, you're not coming for yourself alone. You bring your family because it is important. When we speak about Shiv Parivar and Shivji's family, Ganeshji is a very integral part of that. Very integral. The other thing, and tied in with that, and I will not go long today because of time, is I want you, we've screened off this form of Ganeshji, but look at the other resident Ganesh Bhagwan who is here. Look at his form. Very often when we do Bhagavad Gita, we look at Krishna Bhagwan and we say, ah, looks so beautiful, so handsome, wonderful physique. But when we look at Ganeshji, we wonder, can we say those same things? Is that a beautiful physique? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Ganesh Bhagwan, Krishna Bhagwan, Shivji, Durga Mata, Lakshmi Mata, Saraswati Mata, Hanumanji, and I'm just referring to those forms of Bhagwan that are visually present before you. They are all different. They're all different. We have no twins on stage. Closest we have is Riddhi and Siddhi Mata, but you can't see them. And what does that in itself tell us? I invite you to look at the person next to you. Look at the person next to you. Look at the person next to you. Do they look exactly like you? No. They are also different. They are no twins here again. They are also different. And that is a powerful lesson, that we are all different. We appear to be different. But in that difference, we must remember that we are each unique in our own way. We're each unique in our own way. And that is a blessing, because all of us look the same and did the same, then that would be a very boring place. And Bhagwan has recognized that, and that's why we're so different. But it comes back again that when we perform puja to Ganesh Bhagwan, when we look at his very different, very unique form, we recognize that there's a blessing in that. There's a lesson in that. There is teaching behind that. We can experience that on a daily basis, and that is experiential learning. So when our dharma teaches us to accept the differences, to embrace the differences, to understand the blessings and differences, that should be a lesson for us. And if we practice that in our homes, if we practice that in our schools, if we practice that in our community, if we practice that at the level of high governance in this country, recognizing uniqueness, recognizing difference, but willing to work together in a collaborative, formal fashion, then we recognize that we will get to the realm of performing as a group. Performing as a group. And so each and every one of us as devotees occupy not only the role of devotees, but we occupy places in our families that we can share that lesson and practice that lesson. We also occupy places in schools and places of employment in other organizations where we could share that lesson and practice that lesson. And so hopefully, if we do that frequently and often enough, then the people who make decisions will get the message. They'll get the message. And so when issues confront us, we will have the collaboration. We will recognize the differences. We will recognize the uniqueness of each other and different perspectives. But as leaders, they will be able to work together. And then as a country, we will be able to perform and recognize our potential and do the things that ought to be done. So in every festival, in every puja, in every observance, as Sanatanist Hindus, be very proud of the fact that your dharma provides certain pillars, relevant and meaningful thousands and thousands of years ago, but relevant and even more meaningful in the 21st century. And that is the pride that we must have, not arrogance, but just proudness in terms of what we have. So this morning as I conclude, I want us to reflect upon this. I want us to come each and every evening, and that allows you a very personal way to perform your puja to Ganesh Bhagwan. And then to cater for everyone's needs. When we have the yagya, the pravachan also caters for that. That learning and that quest for knowledge. And it brings us all together as a family. So when our guests and persons attend, we are all members of the Krishna Mandir family. We welcome them all with open arms. We show them all the respect and hospitality. We treat them all as a family. And that is our tradition, and that is our upbringing. And those are the things that we continue to pass on to the younger generation. And hopefully they continue to pass it on, and so on. Brothers and sisters, I thank you for your attention. I thank you for the engagement this morning. I thank everyone for the wonderful, wonderful, very prayerful and peaceful demeanor in which we conducted ourselves in our journey from Esperance to here and even now. And let us continue in that vein as I hand over to members of the Kirtan group, and I invite you all to come forward to perform your arati and to express your love, your devotion and gratitude to Bhagwan. Prem se bole. Tomorrow morning, the puja starts. So let me just share a bit of information. This may be repeated. Tomorrow morning, the puja starts at 10. We will be finished by lunchtime, and then bhojan will be served in the annex. So those of you who want to, if you can't make the entire period and you could break away a little bit and come during the work hour, you can come. Students may not be able to do so, but that's tomorrow. And you will understand the reason for the early puja when we do katha and so on. You know, tomorrow is a particular night that you don't want to be looking at Chandradev, so that kind of thing. So we'll discuss that more. From Tuesday evening, our evening pujas will be from 6 to 7:30. and we are confining ourselves up to the Murti of Ganesh Bhagwan while the puja will be performed there. So 6 to 7:30, what do you need to bring? You're bringing flowers. If you have no flowers because the weather is really hot, no problem. You could bring some doop grass, that's fine. If you want to bring prasad to Chadhawi, you could bring that as well. Right? If you have nothing and you just want to come, just come. From 6 to 7:30, from Tuesday to Friday. Then from Saturday the 23rd, our yagya starts. Right? And the beauty about it is Bhagwan has blessed us with a public holiday in there, so we have a lot of time. So Saturday, our first night of yagya, and so puja will start a little earlier, by about 5-ish or so. We are trying to end our yagya at a reasonable hour to allow you, one, to have bhojan, because we don't want people eating after 9 o'clock in the night. All right? And then secondly, to get home at a reasonable hour. So the intention is that the Vyas would be here before 7, so we would like you all here by 6, because it's sometimes quite undesirable to have our Vyas coming in, and the most present person is the empty bench. So we would like you all to be here promptly at 6 o'clock. Members of the group and so on would be here, so they will be here from before that. And the pravachan will start promptly at 7. So all the lead up to it, Arti and so on, would be done slightly before 7 o'clock. And then pravachan will start at 7 to end everything, including final Asharvara and so on, by 8:15. And then by Arti, by the time Arti is finished and so on, 8:30 we should be completed. And then move across to the annex to have bhojan. Those of you who cannot stay for whatever reason, we will have the facility to take away bhojan if you would like to do that. But we'd invite you to stay to enjoy in that fellowship. So that's Saturday, and our first night will be led by Pandit Rajendranath Maharaj. He is the newly elected PRO of the Pandits Parishad. And he's been here before, so sometimes people get confused. Well, which Pandit Rajendra you're talking about? Is it the one from Susulans? No, it's not that one. So it's Pandit Rajendranath Maharaj. If you're unsure, come Saturday, you'll see who it is. Right? So that's the one way to solve that problem. Sunday night, we have Pandit Devendra, our very own Panditji, and he needs no introduction, so I'm sure we will all be overflowing the mandir. Monday night, we will have Pandit Jishnu Maharaj, and again, someone you're not unfamiliar with. He's been here before, so Panditji will be with us on Monday night. On Tuesday night, we have Pandit Abhedanand Prasad Sharma, and household name, we all know him. This will be the first time that Panditji will be officiating at one of our hosted yagyas. He's been here before, but in a private capacity. And then on Wednesday night, which is the final night, again, Pandit Devendra will be leading us to that final night. Then on Thursday morning will be the Visarjan, so we will have puja starting from about 10 o'clock. And then when we are completed with that, the Visarjan ceremony will take place closer to the midday hour, and it will be right here at the Mandir. Unfortunately, there has been some change in circumstance so that our traditional procession down to the Flat Rock area is inhibited and will be inhibited for the foreseeable future until that road widening exercise is completed, because that's what it is. It's a road widening exercise, not mince words about it. Whenever that is finished and we are able to access in a safe fashion, we may resume there or at another location. We'll see when that happens. We've been promised, and I'm saying this openly live, you could record it to whatever, we've been promised that a facility would be built that will allow us the opportunity to perform puja and visarjan there. I have a witness here, I think. I don't know if she's still here, but I won't put her on the spot. We've been promised that. The former chairman is saying, yes, he's a witness to that. So we'll see if that materializes. But in the short term, to be able to conduct the visarjan as a family in a safe way, we are doing it here at the compound. And then the devotees will take the murti after it's been immersed here to be offered in the running waters of the ocean and so on. Just a few persons because, again, of safety and so on. So we are very cognizant of that. So that will be our events of the entire Ganesh Utsav, and as we know from Friday Pitri Paksh starts. Be aware that we will be having the offering of Tarpan. Panditji will lead that. You'll get more information about that. And then on the conclusion of Pitri Paksh, we start right away with Navaratri on the 15th of October, which is a Sunday. So we start then and we also end on a Sunday. So we will be ending the following Sunday. So it's a very packed period. And you're all invited and you're all asked to share the invitation to persons you come into contact with. So please, we'll get more during announcements, but let's come forward now and perform our arti.
जय गणपति गजवदन विनायक जय गणपति गजवदन विनायक महावीर मुर मंगलदायक
महावीर मुर मंगलदायक
जय गणपति गजवदन विनायक
जय गणपति गजवदन विनायक
विद्यापति वाचस्पति ज्ञानी
विद्यापति वाचस्पति ज्ञानी
हनुताये शंभु भवानी
हलुताई शंभु भवानी
सदाधार श्रीपति सुखदायक
जय गणपति गजवदन विनायक जय गजवदन विनायक
शूर्पकर्ण गुण निधि गजनासा
शूर्पकर्ण गुण निधि गजनासा
करते पूर्ण भक्त की आशा
करते पूर्ण भक्त की आशा
शिवानंदन सबसे दी प्रदायक
जय गणपति गजवदन विनायक
हे मोदक प्रिय मूषक वाहन
हे मोदक प्रिय मूषक वाहन
करते हम तेरा आवाहन
करते हम तेरा वाहन
सारे जग के भाग्य विनायक
जय गणपति गजवदन विनायक
लंबोदर हर प्रिय नो माता
लंबोदर हर प्रिय दो माता
महाबली कुमार की भ्राता
महाबली कुमार की भ्राता
सब विघ्न देवों के नायक
जय गणपति गजवदन विनायक
जय गणेश जय जय गुण सागर
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 क्लेश हरो आदेश दया कर
क्लेश हरो आदेश दया कर
अचल भक्ति नो विधि निर्णायक
जय गणपति गजवदन विनायक
जय गणपति गजवदन विनायक
जय गणपति गजवदन विनायक
महावीर मुर मंगलदायक
महावीर मुर मंगलदायक
जय गणपति गजवदन विनायक
जय गणपति गजवदन विनायक
जय गणपति गजवदन विनायक
गौरी गणेश भजो गौरी गणेश,
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 गौरी गणेश भजो गौरी
कट जाए तन मन के सारे ही क्लेश, कट जाए तन मन के सारे ही क्लेश, गौरी गणेश भजो गौरी गणेश, गौरी गणेश भजो गौरी गणेश, गौरी गणेश भजो गौरी गणेश,
गणेश भजो गौरी गणेश,
गौरी 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 गणेश भजो गौरी गणेश,
काम क्रोध लोभ मोह रहे नहीं शेष, काम क्रोध लोभ मोह रहे नहीं शेष, गौरी गणेश भजो गौरी गणेश, गौरी गणेश भजो गौरी गणेश, गौरी गणेश भजो गौरी गणेश, गौरी गणेश भजो गौरी गणेश भजो गौरी गणेश, गौरी गणेश भजो गौरी गणेश, गौरी गणेश भजो गौरी गणेश।
मातङ्गवदना आनन्दसदना,
मातङ्गवदना आनन्द गदना,
मातङ्गवदना आनन्दसदना,
मातङ्गवदना आनन्द सदना,
महादेव शिव शम्भो नन्दन,
महादेव शिव शम्भो नन्दन,
महादेव शिव शम्भो नन्दन,
महादेव शिव शम्भो नन्दन,
मातङ्गवदना आनन्दसदना,
मातङ्गवदना आनन्द सदना,
मातङ्गवदना माय विनाशक मूषिक वाहन
माय विनाशक मूषक वाहन
मूषिक वाहन
मूषक वाहन
माय विनाशक मूषिक वाहन
माय विनाशक मूषक वाहन
माता महेश्वरी भवानी नंदन
महादेश्वरी भवानी नंदन
माता महेश्वरी भवानी नंदन
माता महेश्वरी भवानी नंदन
महागणपती मंगल चरणा
महागणपती मंगल चरणा
महागणपती मंगल चरणा
महागणपती
तू ही बिगारी
तारे।
इस जग के सारे काम
हे राम हे राम हे राम हे राम।
तू ही जगदाता विश्व विधाता
तू ही जगदाता विश्व विधाता।
तू ही जगदाता विश्व विधाता
तू ही जगदाता विश्व विधाता।
तू ही सुबह तू ही शाम
हे राम हे राम हे राम हे राम।
हे राम हे राम हे राम हे राम
हे राम हे राम हे राम हे राम।
जग में साचो तेरो नाम
जग में साचो तेरो नाम।
हे राम हे राम
हे राम हे राम
हे राम हे राम
हे राम
हे राम हे राम
हे राम हे राम।
गणपति बाप्पा मोरिया, गणपति बाप्पा मोरिया, गणपति बाप्पा मोरिया,
गणपति बाप्पा मोरिया,
गणपति बाप्पा मोरिया, गणपति बाप्पा मोरिया,
गणपति बाप्पा मोरिया, गणपति बाप्पा मोरिया।
सुख करता दुख हरता मेरा गणपति बाप्पा मोरिया,
सुख करता दुख हरता मेरा गणपति बाप्पा मोरिया,
सुख करता दुख हरता मेरा गणपति बाप्पा मोरिया,
सुख करता दुख हरता मेरा गणपति बाप्पा मोरिया।
आओ प्रभु मेरे आओ मंगल मूर्ति आओ,
आओ प्रभु मेरे आओ मंगल मूर्ति आओ।
जय जयकार हुई जग अंधर, जय जयकार हुई जग अंधर, घर घर में है तेरा मंदिर, घर घर में है तेरा मंदिर। प्रेम की ज्योत जलाने वाले मेरे मन की ज्योत जलाओ, प्रेम की ज्योत जलाने वाले मेरे मन की ज्योत जलाओ।
आओ प्रभु मेरे आओ मंगल मूर्ति आओ, आओ प्रभु मेरे आओ मंगल मूर्ति आओ।
गणपति बाप्पा मोरिया, गणपति बाप्पा मोरिया,
गणपति बाप्पा मोरिया, गणपति बाप्पा मोरिया।
सारे जग की तुम हो स्वामी,
सारे जग की तुम हो स्वामी,
गणपति बाप्पा अंतर्यामी,
गणपति बाप्पा गणपति बापा मोरिया, गणपति बापा मोरिया, गणपति बापा मोरिया। बल बुद्धि सब तेरी दया से, बल बुद्धि सब तेरी दया से, रिद्धि सिद्धि नवनिधि तेरी दया से, रिद्धि सिद्धि नवनिधि तेरी दया से। सबको पार लगाने वाले मेरी नैया पार लगाओ, सबको पार लगाने वाले मेरी नैया पार लगाओ। आओ प्रभु मेरे आओ, मंगल मूर्ति आओ, आओ प्रभु मेरे आओ, मंगल मूर्ति आओ। गणपति बापा मोरिया, गणपति बापा मोरिया, गणपति बापा मोरिया, गणपति बापा मोरिया। सुख करता दुख हरता मेरा गणपति बापा मोरिया, सुख करता दुख हरता मेरा गणपति बापा मोरिया। आओ प्रभु मेरे आओ, मंगल मूर्ति आओ, आओ प्रभु मेरे आओ, मंगल मूर्ति आओ, आओ प्रभु मेरे आओ, मंगल मूर्ति आओ, आओ प्रभु मेरे आओ, मंगल मूर्ति आओ।
If we can have one final chant, and that will be followed by announcements.
गौरी गणेश उमा महेश, पार्वती नंदन श्री गणेश।
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 शरणं गणेश, शरणं गणेश,
शरणं गणेश, शरणं गणेश,
शरणं गणेश, शरणं गणेश,
शरणं गणेश, शरणं गणेश।
शिवानंदन गणपति
शिवानंदन गणपति गणेश,
शिवानंदन गणपति गणेश।
शिवानंदन गणपति गणेश।
गौरी गणेश उमा महेश, पार्वती नंदन श्री 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 गणेश।
शरणं गणेश, शरणं गणेश,
शरणं गणेश, शरणं गणेश,
शरणं गणेश, शरणं गणेश,
शरणं गणेश, शरणं गणेश।
शिवानंदन गणपति गणेश।
शिवानंदन गणपति गणेश। पार्वतीनन्दन श्री गणेश
शरणं गणेश शरणं गणेश
शरणं गणेश शरणं गणेश
शरणं गणेश शरणं गणेश
शरणं गणेश शरणं गणेश
शिवानन्दन गणपति गणेश
शिवानन्दन गणपति गणेश
शिवानन्दन गणपति
शिवानन्दन गणपति गणेश
गौरी गणेश उमा महेश पार्वतीनन्दन श्री 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 गणेश
प्रेम से बोले श्री गणेश भगवान की जय. So once more you're reminded about the particulars of the yagya. I will not repeat them. Warm welcome is extended to everyone this morning. All of you we've seen for the first time, or those persons who are back with us after some period of absence, a very special welcome. We welcome all of your donations and contributions towards the upkeep of the mandir, particularly with the upcoming yagya and events that are upcoming. We ask you to donate and contribute generously. Those of you who can do so in cash, those of you who can do so in kind. We are requiring as well donations of bottles of ghee and mango wood. So if you would like to make those donations, please see Mr. Sinanan after the service so that you can put your names down and give whatever you can during this time. We are also reminding you that the car park next door or across the road is available for your usage on a Sunday morning, and it will be available throughout the nights of the yagya. The 5 nights of the yagya, the car park will be open, and we invite you to avail yourself of that facility, kindly extended to us by the principal of San Fernando West Secondary, so your vehicles will be kept safe. The members of the executive committee, you are reminded that there's a very brief meeting right after service, so please see Mr. Sinanan, all members of the executive, just the office area right after service. We want to extend once more welcome and encouragement to all of the young ones, those of you who are looking on. The Bal Vihar class is up and running, and we look forward to having you bring your young ones, your children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, to the Bal Vihar program, which takes place every Sunday. So please avail yourself of that opportunity. The last and final announcement, really, there are 2 devotees, Sri Anand and Srimati Helen, who are celebrating their 49th wedding anniversary today. And they're here with us, and we want to extend to them Bhagwanji's blessings for many, many more happy and healthy years ahead. Anyone celebrating their birthdays or other persons who are celebrating their anniversaries, there's Reshma is celebrating her birthday, and Rama. So those 2, Reshma who is here and Rama who is viewing us from Toronto, I believe, birthday greetings. And one gentleman, Mr. Daniram Ramnath, who normally looks at us every week from Toronto, he celebrated his birthday on Friday. So we are extending birthday greetings to all. Let us stand for final arti and then closing prayer.
Om Jai Jagadish Hari Swami Jai Jagadish Hari
भक्त जनों के संकट दास जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे ओम जय जगदीश हरे जो ध्यावे फल पावे दुख बिन से मन का मन का सुख संपत्ति घर आवे सुख संपत्ति घर आवे कष्ट मिटे तन का ओम जय जगदीश हरे मात पिता तुम मेरे शरण गहूँ किसकी स्वामी शरण गहूँ किसकी तुम बिन करूं जिसकी। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, तुम पूरन परमात्मा तुम अंतर्यामी, स्वामी तुम अंतर्यामी। पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर, पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर, तुम सबके स्वामी। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, तुम करुणा के सागर, तुम पालन करता, स्वामी तुम पालन करता। हम सेवक तुम स्वामी, हम सेवक तुम स्वामी, कृपा करो भरता। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, तुम हो एक अगोचर सबके प्राणपति, स्वामी सबके प्राणपति। किस विधि मिलो दया में, किस विधि मिलो दया में, तुम वो मैं कुमति। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, दीन बंधु दुख हरता, तुम रक्षक मेरे, स्वामी तुम रक्षक मेरे। अपने हाथ उठाओ, अपने हाथ उठाओ, द्वार पर तेरे। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, विषय विकार मिटाओ, पाप हरो देवा, स्वामी पाप हरो देवा। श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ाओ, श्रद्धा प्रेम बढ़ाओ, संतन की सेवा। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, तन मन धन सब है तेरा, स्वामी सब कुछ है तेरा। तेरा तुझको अर्पण, तेरा तुझको अर्पण, क्या लागे मेरा। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, ओम जय जगदीश हरे, स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे। भक्त जनों के संकट, दास जनों के संकट, क्षण में दूर करे। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, ओम जय जगदीश हरे, ओम जय जगदीश हरे।
Hari Om. O Prabhu, you are mother and father, your family and friend, your knowledge, your wealth, you are everything. We surrender ourselves completely to you. Om. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva, tvameva bandhu cha seka tvameva, त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। ओम असतो मा सद्गमय, तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय, मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय। Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. प्रेम से बोले श्री गणेश भगवान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, आज शक्ति जगदम्बा देवी मैया की जय, श्री पवन पुत्र हनुमान की जय, प्रेम से बोले श्री सच्चे सनातन धर्म की जय। चंद्र सब कोई जय जय सीताराम, जय सीताराम, जय सीताराम। We look forward to seeing you with us tomorrow morning, for those of you who can, from 10 a.m. for puja. And then from Tuesday every evening from 6 to 7:30. And then we start our yajna on Saturday. So please join with us from 6 p.m. as we continue on. Jai Sitaram, have a very safe and productive week ahead. Jai Sitaram.
बार बार